YouTube, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Yanni back at you with another video. Guys, today we're going to be doing a Mohawk fade on my client here. He is 6 years old. If you know anything about working with kids, they do over exaggerate, especially on this step. Let's start off by picking out the hair. It was very knotted. I sprayed a little bit of detangler and we're just going to pick this hair out. I always tell the kids this is the worst part. I'm doing my best not to hurt him, but we have to get this thing picked out, so we're going to get through it. I am using the smaller pick in order to pick it out. Once I pick through the hair, in order to get an even pick all the way through the hair, I'm going to switch to the bigger pick. And the reason I switched to a bigger pick after using the smaller one is to have this hair picked out as even as possible. That way we can freehand the top of this mohawk. Once the hair is fully picked out, we're going to come in with our clipper all the way close. I am using the Gamma Ergos and I am freehanding the top of this mohawk into the shape that I want. I'm not going for like a rounded top. I'm kind of giving it kind of like a hill shape, if that makes any sense, like a little mountain shape. So nice little curve at the top in order to suit his head as best as possible. Mold this hair into the shape that you want. Guys, now we're gonna set in our bald guideline, and I am using my Slimline Pros. We're gonna set in this guideline not in a rainbow like shape, but more like that hill type shape that I talked about for the top. So I'm going to set in this guideline, then I'm going to come in with the Slimline Pros and I'm going to debulk everything underneath. I like using these clippers because they are not as sharp as my other ones and they're very great for kids. So, you know, everyone has that sharp pair of clippers, trimmers, and everyone has those not so sharp. So these slim lines are my not so sharps that I like using on kids. Alright guys, and the next step is I'm coming in with my Gamma Ergo, no guard, all the way open, and I'm setting in my first guideline about 1/2 inch, following that first guideline that I set in. Now I'm coming in with my number 1 guard all the way closed, and I am knocking down the hair above that guideline. Now using that same number 1 guard with the clipper all the way closed, I am setting in my next guideline. You can set it in with the clipper open. I like to do it with the clipper closed when I'm working with my African American clients with coarse hair. I always set in that second guideline closed. 1/2 inch, about the same as the last guideline. Then we can start taking the panels out. I'm coming in with my ergo all the way closed, attacking that bottom line that we set in with our Slimline Pros. Once that line is starting to disappear, then we're going to open our clipper halfway, move up on the guideline, open our clipper one more notch until we meet the top of this guideline. Alright guys, next we're coming in with our half guard. It is all the way closed, and we're going to attack that line where we set in our number 1 guideline width. We're going to open the clipper halfway, move up on the guideline, then open the clipper all the way until we meet the top of that guideline. Use your corners very lightly, attacking those areas, coming with the grain and against the grain in order to manipulate this hair and to blend it from the bottom all the way to the top. Here you see me taking off the guard in order to take out any dark spots that the half guard closed didn't take out. When doing a mohawk and cutting towards the back, like where it arches, you might have to come up, come sideways in order to make that line come out. Using the 1.5 guard with the grain where the top length of that hair is, and I'm just using it to lay this hair down. After this, I will not use it anymore. I will just use my number 1 guard to blend out the rest of this haircut. I'm coming in with my number 1 guard 1 notch open, and then I'm going to open it using the corners and flicking out in order to blend the rest of this haircut. When you get to the top, it's best to use your corners and flick out because you don't want to set in another guideline, especially when working with this tight of a space. You have to be very cautious. And here you see me going with the grain because it's helping me lay down the hair. Sometimes you will have to come with the grain in order to lay that hair down. Using my corners, flicking out as best as I can. Try not to create another guideline and just blending this out. And guys, for the sake of the video, I will not be showing you guys the other side, but we are just going to follow the same steps on the other side in order to finish this mohawk off. Alright guys, fast forward, we're going to do the front hairline. So what we're doing is we're grabbing our comb, we're bringing down the hair, that way we could taper out the front and set ourselves up for a crispy lineup. When taking down the hair, you can use the 1 guard closed. In this instance, I'm using the half guard and it's halfway open because I want the hair to be a little bit shorter in order to match the sides. I am coming with the grain, knocking this hair down, and this is going to set ourselves up to set in a crispy line. And here I'm applying a little bit of spritz. Now I'm coming in with my Babyliss. There's silver FX, but I do have the rose gold 2.0 blade on there. And we're gonna start this hairline. Start from the middle, work our way to the corners. use your mirrors as much as possible. I am facing him towards the mirror, and I'm gonna keep looking back at my mirror and making sure that this hairline is as straight as possible. Now moving on to the vertical bars, taking my time on this lineup because these Babylisses are very sharp. I don't want to cut him, I don't want to irritate his skin, so I'm pressing very softly and I'm taking my time on this lineup. Once that side is complete, I'm going to start from the middle and work my way to the other corner, making sure that this is as even as possible. I gotta give a shout out to my client here. Man, this boy is such a good client. He sits still, he likes to get good haircuts, and I'm pretty sure all of you guys can relate to a good client that's a kid that enjoys getting their hair cut and enjoys looking fresh. Here guys, we're just doing the same thing as we did to the other side, trying to keep everything even as possible, doing the vertical bars, hitting them with the points, then the seat cup, in order to bring this lineup all the way together. Alright guys, now we're going to move off to the back. We're going to line up the back and we're going to round it off. Usually he gets it in a V-like shape, but his mom didn't want it into a V. She wanted it rounded this time, so we're just going to round the bottom. Here I'm using my Gamma Evo X, the new Evos. I finally got these things set how I want them, and they are hitters as well, man. I love these trimmers. They're actually my go-to trimmers now. But yeah guys, we're gonna follow this line all the way around the back of the neck, and we're gonna try to keep both sides as even as possible. Taking our time, especially with kids, you know they have that little dip on the back of their necks, so take your time. Here guys, I'm using my sponge to curl out the top. He likes to wear his Mohawk in the curls. And here you see me doing some freehand, you know, getting any of those straggler hairs and getting any pieces of the top that really were uneven, making it as even as we can, and then we'll come back behind that and we'll just recurl it again. Now the last step, we're gonna grab our razor. Here I'm using my Tune 45 blue triple cartridge razor. Shout out to Tune 45 for this amazing product. Stretch the skin, 45-degree angle, and bring these lines together. Get them nice and tight, give them a sharp shape up, and that's gonna bring our haircut together, guys. Alright guys, here's how my man came in. He came in needing some help, and we were here to save his life. Here's the before. And here is the after, guys. Tell me what you guys think of the haircut. Tell me if you enjoyed this video. What do you rate this haircut? What could I have done better? Did you enjoy the video? Did you like the haircut? Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Show your boy some love. It's been a pleasure. Yanni out.